Africa. We're back where it all began for an anniversary edition of World's Strongest Man.
From the continent where human evolution made big strides, to California as the clock is rewound 40 years, to the start of an event that would become legendary. Among the displays of brawn and bravado, World's Strongest Man was born. Those early years of US brashness gave way to a determined and focused brotherhood of American champions. And across the ocean to the Nordic countries, where sagas of strength flow within the very heartbeat of its people, the Viking bloodline has borne many legends.
I am the strongest! I am the Viking! Yeah!
The furnaces from the strongman industrial heartland of the former Eastern Bloc have also provided a conveyor belt of champions who have held their steely grip on the title time after time. And 3 have come from this land, Great Britain. But history isn't on her side. Britannia hasn't ruled for almost a quarter of a century. But this isn't just about the past. It's about this year's men who want to make history as we return to Botswana. The defending champion Brian Shaw is in the hunt for a record-equalling title number 5. And so is another. Big Z is back. The man who redefined strength athletics returns to the field re-sculptured. Lean Z has toned down, but his ambition remains heavyweight. After half a decade of having the title so close within his grasp, Hathor Bjornsson remains uncrowned. His determination is stronger than ever, and so is he. The British contingent in Botswana is in imperious form. The strength in depth is deeper. The latest breed, drawing strength from those that have gone before. Others are ready to take their own strides in the footsteps of past legends as they embark upon the quest to find the Courtgenic's World's Strongest Man.
Happy birthday, World's Strongest Man. This year, the greatest, grandest strength competition of all, making a very happy return to Botswana. We're down south in the capital, Gaborone, and as you can see, we're joined by strength legends Sarah Jane Crawford and Magnus Ver Magnusson. 4 World's Strongest Man titles between them. Great to be back, isn't it, Sarah Jane?
It is a dream to be back in Botswana, James. Last year was absolutely amazing. I have a funny feeling this year is going to be even bigger and even better. Plus, we have the strongest field that we've ever had at World's Strongest Man.
Heat 1 features Shaw, you've also got Colin Wolfe in there, JF Caron, Mateusz Belczak, and 2 Brits, Magnus, the newcomer Tom Stoltzman, and also the vastly experienced Mark Felix. Can he make it back to the grand final?
Well, Mark Felix is strong enough, but I think Brian will breeze through it. So it's anybody's game for that second spot.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, listen, Brian and the guys are actually down at the first event, the loading drag. So let's get World's Strongest Man underway.
And standing by to bring us all the action in Gaborone, it's our commentators Colin Bryce and first Danny Wallace.
Thanks a lot, James. So here we go again. And we start this year with a very tough event, the load and drag. 75 seconds, it's a 12-metre course, 2 sacks at 110 kg each, and then you have to drag a mining cart, which is 350 kg. So the Kiwi, Colin Wolfe, they call him the Wolf Man, for obvious reasons.
From Great Britain, we have
Stoltzman, known as the Albatross because of his arm span. He can also regurgitate squid beaks.
We have Mateusz Belczak.
Belczak from Slovenia, 4 times Slovenia's strongest man. And they're off.
Well, that's what awaits them at the end. Carrying these sacks, we've seen it before. They can manhandle these pretty easily. It just tires them a little bit. But what I'm worried about is 350 kilos across these very porous bricks could drag very, very hard.
Well, that's the thing. It's the equivalent of 6 washing machines being dragged across a bricked patio. And it's the bricks that present the problem.
Well, if it was on ice, it would pull easily, but it isn't. It's the absolute opposite. These bricks are digging into the feet of these mining carts, which don't have wheels on, by the way. A bit of bulk here would certainly help, but of course, really attacking it hard like Wolf there.
He's doing very well now, Wolf. He's staged a bit of a comeback there. He was slow carrying the sacks.
Seconds left.
Now, it doesn't look like anyone's going to complete this course. And Stoltman's struggling. Mass pulls mass, of course, Colin.
Yeah, and he's a bigger man than Belzak, and he can just get a few big pulls here in the end, but it's Wolfie who's going to take the win with a couple seconds to go.
And he does. He takes that race. Stoltman looking disappointed.
Lead from group number 1 from New Zealand, Calm Wolf.
That's what I just said.
Let's just have a little look at Wolfie's technique. Drops low, of course, former rugby player, knows how to use his body well. And at 190 kilos, that was not that far. This could be very hard to finish.
Well, here's Caron from Canada. Currently the 5th strongest man on the planet.
From Great Britain,
Going up against Britain's own Mark Felix. We always talk about his age, but he's 51.
United States, Brian Shaw.
And up against the reigning champ, the current world's strongest man, Brian Shaw.
206 kilos of Brian Shaw. Now, once he's dealt with these sacks, you imagine that bulk will certainly help him. It did for Wolfie.
It did for Wolfie. Taking his time, though, Brian Shaw. Wants to get it right.
I guess there's no point in blowing a gasket, charging with these sacks, because everybody's going to meet the same wall of weight here. And indeed, it's Shaw who's away, but so's Caron.
There's the slip from Mark Felix, though. Now, is that technique or is that shoes? Or is...
Yeah, probably wrong choice of footwear. Something Brian Shaw, he goes out and tests all surfaces. He'll have 10 pairs of shoes in his bag.
Well, look at this.
This is bizarre.
Caron careering ahead of Brian Shaw. And Felix really struggling, that slip.
I can see Shaw, he's going quite slowly. He's not really putting it all into this. Caron really attacked that with everything he had to try and get the win. Perhaps Shaw just holding something back here.
Has he got a final pull? No, but he has gone the furthest and he seems delighted. So Caron takes the load and drag. Very good practice for leaving a campsite in a hurry.
JF Caron claiming top honours there, over 2 metres clear of Shaw, while for the Brits event one proved a real drag. Mark Felix finishing 5th, Tom Stoltman 6th. How will they do in our next test? Well, intriguingly, it's the return of a rep event we haven't seen for a few years, the log lift. That's coming up as the race to qualify for the grand final continues. Welcome back, everyone, to Heat 1 here in Haberon. Now, Magnus, we've had a very explosive start to this particular group of athletes with a great win for JF Caron. Next up, it's the log lift. These logs weighing 158 kilos, about the weight of 2 ordinary guys. Obviously, these guys far from ordinary. But you're most excited about Brian Shaw's clash with Matas Belzak. Why is that?
Belzak is a really good technician and good lifter. And that might give him the edge here.
What's special about his technique?
Well, he uses more of like a Olympic technique a little bit with his lifting, not just pure pressing.
Right, he kind of jumps under it a bit.
Exactly.
All right, plus he's shorter, so there's less far to get it off the ground.
Okay,
let's see how the log lift goes. It's back to the commentators.
Thanks, James. So, as he said, the log lift. 158 kg. How many reps can you get in 75 seconds? Well, already gone. JF Caron had a go. He managed 5 reps. Not a fan of overhead lifts. And Wolf, the Kiwi, only managed 1.
From Great Britain,
So this will be interesting. Mark Felix, currently placed 5th, the mighty Brit. As we've said, the oldest competitor up against the youngest, Tom Stoltman from Alness in Scotland. This is brother Luke, like it says there. And this is the first time, actually, I mean, Luke is going to be competing in Heat 2, so we've got British brothers up against each other, Colin.
Yes, indeed. Assuming they make the final, that is. And right now, both men in 5th and 6th. They need a big performance here. Now, Felix just squeezing that first rep out. Stoltman, the long arms, doesn't help in log press.
Absolutely further to go. Felix, fantastic overhead lifting. Well, maybe not today.
Goodness me, you don't often, in fact, you never see Mark Felix getting injured. He's grabbing his shoulder. Ooh.
Stoltman struggling there, really is. Still got 40 seconds to go. 5 to beat.
Calm it down, some wise words from his brother. It's also the heat affecting him here, no doubt. I mean, it's very, very hot here in Botswana.
Very determined performance. What more has he got in him?
Well, just over 20 seconds to go. If he can get another one, he's already gone ahead of Wolf and Felix. It might just give him a chance of pipping either of the other two to come.
And up it goes. Will he lock out? Manages it, delighting his brother. Very much his mentor. And that appears to be that.
3 repetitions from Great Britain.
Whoever does his washing won't be pleased.
Indeed. But 3 reps, big success. Mark in good hands there with Dr. Richard Smith, but just 1 rep. It was definitely young Stoltman who was in control there. That puts him into 2nd at the moment.
So the next pairing, World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw. 10th time he's appeared at World's Strongest Man. 2nd place at the moment, won't be happy about it. And he's up against Belshak. Man with incredible pressing ability, still young, only 24. So it's a full-time strongman against Belshak, who works part-time in his parents' restaurant.
Yes, you can't deny the facts. But Belshak is tremendous at pressing. And of course, considerably shorter than Shaw, so less distance to travel, so he'll be quicker, that's for sure. It's how long he can last, it's stamina here.
Shaw taking his time again. Has he slowed down this year, or is he being professional?
No, I think at 206 kilos body weight, I mean, that's like 31, 32 stone. He feels the heat more than anybody. So he's just got to take his time, both on 3.
Still 5 to beat from Caron. Equal with 4 now. So now it'll get interesting. Belshak using his power belly. Hoisting it up, locking out. And he's equaled it. Shaw playing catch up.
Certainly looks well within himself there, Shaw. Now, is either of these men going to go for this last rep? Just over 10 seconds. Leaving it pretty late.
Up it goes. Can he do it? Final push. Yes. 6 for Belshak. And Shaw, pretending he's gone deaf and couldn't hear that, but doesn't manage 6, manages only 5. Belshak takes that one. The winner of the log lift.
Tires Belshak, 6 reps. He timed it perfectly. Well in control. Really good performance from him. Well, let's hear from him and Sarah Jane now.
That was an incredible performance against the defending world champion Brian Shaw. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very happy. This was a great event for me. 6 reps is a good result. I even beat Brian with this event. Yeah, I'm really happy and grateful for this event.
Belshak reminding us why he's regarded as one of the world's best pressers. His 6 reps, 1 more than Caron and Shaw, who share 2nd place. Tom Stoltman taking 4th, ahead of Felix and Wolf. JF and Brian then still separated by 1 point in the overall race. Not much joy yet for Felix or Stoltman, but with his brother Luke on the way in the next heat, his family does at least get 2 goes at this year's competition.
A massive family person, you know, my family are first and foremost amongst anything in my life. And for us to have 2 brothers in the World's Strongest Man is incredible.
To be here with Luke, you know, at 22 years old, it's surreal. I feel unbelievable right now, so yeah, I'm ready to rock.
My baby monster brother Tom, I mean, he's got that raw potential. If he's put in the right direction in life, I guarantee that Tom's going to be one of the best in the world. Tom growing up with Asperger's, you know, Tom had the case where he needed to follow everything, right? Wake up, brush my teeth, get dressed, you know, etc., etc. And he can follow that to a T as long as he's got that list. So when he got involved, I mean, he liked things, he went full force into it, you know, so I took him to the local gym.
Went into the gym when I was 17 and Luke then just went through the basics, deadlifts, squats, and got the technique right.
That's where his comfort zone, when he gets a programme, he says, right, Monday, it's chest. I need to do log pressing. He literally took to it like a fish to water. The potential he has is frightening. And he's eventually going to surpass me and I'll become his manager or something and just riding his coattails.
You know, he's more than just a brother to me, he's my coach, he's an amazing mentor. I just want to keep the legacy going. You know, I just want to make the Stoltman name kind of the biggest name in strongman.
He's catching me, he's snapping at my heels, I'll give him his due. But I'm still life in the old dog yet.
Well, they've faced their challenges, those two brothers. Only seems to focus them, though. Fingles Fingers is the next event. They have 60 seconds, 1 minute, to raise these enormous metal poles that only get heavier. And they must be flipped 180 degrees. Here's who's had a go already. Mark Felix. But that injury he sustained earlier, still niggling away. Wolf, the Kiwi, pretty well. Managed 4 in just under 50 seconds. And Mark Felix, despite that injury, still not quitting, Colin.
No, at 51, still doing strongman. He's made of special stuff.
So up next, Beljak. He is 6'1". Now this event really does favour the taller man. You might be thinking 6'1" is pretty good. Stoltman, 6'6". So really, in this battle, Stoltman's got the upper hand.
Yeah, and of course, being called the Albatross with those long arms, it's an even bigger advantage. That leverage, as he plows through the first one, can be seen easily there. The only way to overcome this as the shorter man is to attack it with more speed right at the start. Get the momentum going.
It is about the momentum and the rhythm and keeping that going. The lift so important there. Stoltman and Beljak pretty much neck and neck.
Well, Beljak rolling up his shorts kind of makes a statement. He knows that if he attacks it with his legs, locks his arms, he actually can use the biggest muscles in his body to get it moving.
And look at that rhythm that Beljak's got that Stoltman lost there.
Bent his elbows. That was the problem. You've got to keep the arms totally locked. Let's see if Beljak can get up the 5th. He's got just enough time to do it. Has he got the energy?
His arms are looking tired. And that's that for him. A wave at the crowd. So Stoltman, currently 3rd, managed 3. And that fist bump causing minor earth tremors. Now, was Stoltman... Did I notice an injury there?
Well, let's have another look at the finish. He certainly grabbed his shoulder afterwards. A little grimace on his face. Maybe it's just fatigue, though.
In lane 1, representing Canada,
next up,
JF
Caron, all the way from Canada. He is in the lead at the moment after those 2 events, but he is up against now Brian Shaw, who really, I mean, at 6'8", isn't going to do too badly here, is he?
You know, he was nearly in the NBA as a basketball player. Massive mitts, big long arms, and all that bulk as well. He's the heaviest man in the entire contest at 206 kilos.
And look how easy he's making this look. Straight on to the 3rd. Got the rhythm. Got the height, certainly. And will he have the speed?
Oh, the very fastest men in the past, the likes of Pudzianowski, he's done this in 29 seconds. Brian, though, you always feel he's taking things in a very professional manner, doing just enough for the win, and he knows that if he gets this over, he's likely to be the only one.
And look at this, just a little more needed, but he's got it in him. And he manages that in well, just over 45 seconds, it looked like. Caron, though, knows he's beaten. Doesn't manage the 5th, which means Brian Shaw takes first place. Very important this year.
Yes, first overall as well. And if he's in that position after 5 events this year, he won't have to do the 6th. He'll go straight to the final. And that final event of the heats is going to be a cracker. Last man standing stones. So Big Brian doing what he needs to do here. He's with SJ now.
Now, Brian, you made that look easy, but was it?
You know, I thought it would be easier. I really did. Yeah, the course here is a little bit uphill, so that makes each finger a little bit harder than normal. Normally, I would pretty much just walk through these, but that 5th one it surprised me a little bit, but I'm still happy with it. So I feel comfortable. I've got a couple really good events coming up, so hopefully I can stay in that driver's seat and kind of somewhat cruise through to the final. But again, I have a tough group, so I need to stay focused.
I love that. Well, you're looking very composed, so best of luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Well, sure, one man who arguably doesn't really need fortune, the only competitor indeed to flip all 5 fingers. Behind him, Belshak's a surprise 2nd, while a huge disappointment for Mark Felix. So overall, Shaw is back up top in the automatic qualifying space. The next 4 finishers, remember, go through to our playoff for the other place in the finals, with Felix currently set to miss out after 3 events.
Halfway through the heat then. Now still to come under these brilliant blue skies in Botswana. We've got the bullion toss, finding out who's really worth their weight in gold. But first, here at the Baharutsi Cultural Lodge, it's 350 kilos of deadlift. Boom, that's next on World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to the Corgenics World's Strongest Man in Botswana. How about a bit of a recap on events so far in Heat 1? Our first event was the load and drag, and it proved a little bit tougher than expected. JF Caron, the closest we came to a drag king, with Brian Shaw the least worst of the rest. Up next was the log lift. Mark Felix had some problems, Matej Belsak didn't though, and he picked up a mighty 6 points, with Shaw and Caron tied in 2nd place. Then it was on to the fingers, where it was thumbs up for Brian, the only man to flip all 5, moving himself into top spot in the group. Still, only 2 points are separating the top 3 people in this heat as we head into event 4, and for that, it's back to Sarah Jane.
Thanks, James. Up next, our athletes have to conquer an old foe of an event, the deadlift. Weighing in at 350 kilograms, they have to get as many repetitions as possible in the space of just 60 seconds. Now, the deadlift has been ever present since the beginning of World's Strongest Man. I'm talking the 1970s. So to celebrate the 40th birthday, let's get back to that very decade.
The opening years of World's Strongest Man were held at Universal Studios Hollywood. Its cast were a generous spread of men from across the sporting realm. The events were at times as mind-blowing for the viewer as they were for the athletes themselves. There were bars to be bent, races with fridges, haircuts and fashions that raised eyebrows. It wasn't just the athletes who left their mark, but the road forward was clear. Some had aspirations to be superheroes, such as the future Incredible Hulk himself. But the man who tasted glory in the Sunshine State for the first 2 years was Californian weightlifter Bruce Wilhelm. His vocal displays of force matched by his physical power. As the decade drew to a close, there was just enough time for one more American win. Don Reinhardt held off a Viking challenge for the title. That Scandinavian surge would be a glimpse of things to come. 1979 also marked the debut of a certain William Kazmaier, who would dominate the start of the next decade and become the event's first global icon.
The campaign to bring back leotards starts here. So it's the deadlift. 60 seconds to lift that bar as many times as possible. 350 kilograms. Here's who's had a go so far. Well, the Kiwi, Colm Wolfe, managed 2 reps. Next up was the Slovenian Beljak, currently in the lead with 7. A great event for Britain's Mark Felix, but there has been news. James is with him now.
I'm here with Mark Felix, and Mark, unfortunate news, you're withdrawing from this year's competition. What's happened?
When I was doing the log, I did the first rep, and when I went to do the second rep, I just feel like I pull on my bicep.
Right.
I speak to the doctor, and he says the long head, I tore the long head off my biceps.
Torn off the bone?
Yeah, it's torn
That
off.
sounds unbelievably painful.
It was very painful at the time.
Just coming up to the deadlift, which would have been your event.
Yeah. Well, usually deadlift is such a good event for me. I was looking forward to the deadlift. I mean, together with all the events, because I trained so hard this year for those events. I was looking forward to every one of them, but you know, stuff happens.
The other disappointment we're hearing today is that Luke's brother Tom Stoltzman is also out of the competition.
Yes, Tom just had bad luck with the fingers. He's in my group. He was looking good so far. He'll be back. You know, he's a big, strong guy. I mean, he's one to look forward to for the future.
It's a dangerous business, Mark. Best of luck.
Thank you.
They look like father and son. So Felix describing muscle tearing from the bone like he's just stubbed his toe. But the show goes on. Now Caron, just an amazing deadlifter. This very much his favourite event, Colin.
Well, if there's one other man who's particularly good at repetitions, it's Caron, just like Felix was. And coming out before Brian Shaw, I imagine he'll try and put out a huge number. He has to. He wants to be the man who goes through qualifying in first after 5 events. Nobody wants to go into the battle at the end that is the last man standing stones.
Well, he's already up to, this will be 6 reps with 30 seconds to go. 7 to beat.
This is very impressive. I mean, Beljak is also one of the best at that kind of thing. He's so fit. He's equaled him there.
Just taking a moment. There aren't many moments left. Only 12 seconds. Can he get this final rep to take the lead and really put the pressure on Brian Shaw? 4 seconds now. Needs to lock out. And manages it. With what? Under a second to go, I'd say.
I'm not sure he knew how tight that was. Yeah, probably less than a second.
8 repetitions representing
8 reps indeed. Big Brian, the last man to come out, has got his work cut out now. That was tremendous. So fast with just, what, 3-4 seconds left on the clock. What a lifter.
Representing the United States, Brian Shaw!
So Shaw, now with a little bit more to do than perhaps he was expecting. That guy just said the same.
Oh, Big Brian. I mean, he's a tremendous deadlifter. And despite being 206 kilograms, which you normally wouldn't associate with fitness, he is pretty fit for a big fella. And he's knocking these out so easy that I think his pure strength will carry him through here.
Well, this is a real statement of intent, isn't it? 6, with still over 30 seconds to go.
Now that's 7. 1 more to equal. It's taken an awful long time in a bent over position.
And up it goes. So he's got 8. But that's it.
That's surprising. He was a little soft in the lockout there.
Well, he's clearly biding his time, happy to equal.
Yeah, I think he certainly would have done 1 more, but this was quite a grinder here. Look, he didn't just stand up with it with ease, and he probably didn't want to exhaust himself.
Shaw and Caron dead even in the deadlift in what's now looking a depleted Heat 1. Once again, Mateusz Beljak right on the heels of the North Americans with 7 reps, just the 2 for Wolf. So, 4 men remaining. 1 will qualify automatically, the others must face our new event, Last Man Standing, if they're to make the grand finals. Who's your money on? It's the bullion toss that will sort our group winner, and for that, over at Kigali Hill, it's over to Colin and Danny.
So the bullion toss. An updated version of the keg toss. 60 seconds to hoist 8 bars, which just get heavier and heavier, over a wall nearly 16 foot high. Well, Wolf had a go. current leader, managed 6 bars in 35.30 seconds. So who's next? Well, I'll tell you. It's Belshak in a crucial position at this point, Colin.
Yeah, 1 point behind second place. It's the penultimate event. He needs to leapfrog all the way up to first, ideally. And if he does, he doesn't even have to do the last event. Right now, that's held by Brian Shaw. Of course, Shaw's brilliant at any kind of tossing event.
Well, you can make your own jokes at home. But look at this. 3 bars, 20 seconds, going for his 4th. Now, the heaviest of these bars is 25 kg, which is the equivalent of throwing a heavy-set English bulldog from America into Mexico over Donald Trump's wall, where it can start a new life. Struggling with the 5th.
Well, here we go. Can he get this 5th one over? We're still not up to the 25 kilo bar yet. This one, 21 kilos. No, he's come up short again and he's burnt out. All that explosive energy goes so quickly, he knows it's over. So currently second, Danny, 4 bars.
Well, absolutely. Good technique, though. Is it just his height working against him?
There's definitely a bit of that. He's very explosive. And around about 6 foot, and he hasn't got very long arms. Someone like JF, who's got more length, will certainly do better.
He is second place after 4 events.
Got his gloves on. Try and get a little extra grip, and he absolutely hammers that one over.
Got a little bunny hop that he's doing. The others don't seem to have.
Yeah, a little plyometric trick. It's, you know, just to try and get the muscles firing as he lands and then springs up again.
Really using that explosive power. Well, this looks like it could be quite tight. 6 in 35.30 to beat. He's managed 5. This is the 6th.
It's going to be really tight.
Oh, it looks like he may have taken the lead there.
It nearly sat on top of the bar. That would have been unique. Now, 2 left, Danny. Getting close to that big one.
The bulldog weight. Can he do it? No. And he's out. Knows he's beaten, but also I think he suspects he's done enough. And he has. 6 bars, 34.53. Beating Wolf by a second.
Yeah, 35.3 was what he had to do. Let's just have a look at that explosive technique you picked up on, Danny. Getting maximum extension from top to bottom. Great effort.
Representing the United States, Brian Shaw!
So he's in the lead. He is already the world's strongest man. She finds him hilarious. He knows what he has to do here. And he very much wants to maintain that first position, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Goodness me, that went off of camera shot. Those low-flying planes were in danger there. Yeah, if he does 7, we know he's done it. We know he doesn't even have to go on to the last event. He's so good at this. I mean, there's one great basketball coach once said, you can't coach height, and he's got 6'8" of it.
He does. And look at this. 30 seconds gone. 6 bars. He's got the 7.
Go on, do number 8, Brian.
Let's send that bulldog to Mexico City.
Well. He knows he's qualified for the final now. Normally, he wouldn't expend any more energy than he has to. He's got to nail it, though. Yeah, showboats in style.
And that is interesting. He pulled back in the first couple of events. Now he knows he's done it. He can please the crowd. So perfect event for him, Colin.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the last event we'll see of him in this heat. He's going through to the grand final. Look at the clearance on that last one. Extraordinary. I think he might be in 5th title-winning form.
The crowd looking enthralled here in Botswana as Shaw takes gold, completing the event in just under 55 seconds. Mateusz Belshak with the 4-bar blues there, the Slovenian missing his chance to move into 2nd overall. It's Shaw that goes through to the grand final again, Caron securing 2nd spot, which earns him a massive advantage as we head into our final event, the world premiere of Last Man Standing. Wolf, Belshak and Caron all with a chance of going through alongside Brian. It all comes down to our brand new head-to-head showdown. That's coming up from Botswana.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are then at the final event of this first heat of this year's World's Strongest Man. Brian Shaw, the reigning champion, as you know, already through to this year's grand finals. Now 3 athletes remain, and they must take part in a round of last man standing to determine who it is who's going to join him there. Magnus for Magnusson, the rules?
Yes.
OK then. The 2 bottom place athletes enter this ring. One of them then tries to pass this 160-kilo Atlas stone into his opponent's half. His opponent then has 15 seconds to pass it back again. They continue until one of them can't make the lift. At that point, Magnus, they exit the competition and the next athlete up takes their place, and we continue until the last man standing joins Brian in the final. The sun, the sand, the baying crowd, I'm getting a gladiator vibe about this.
Well, this is like getting into a boxing ring, real clash of the titans. And the boys want to get that stone over that bar as fast as possible.
Wow. Last man standing, 3 men enter, 1 man leaves. Who's it going to be? Let's find out.
So in this new event, the men in 3rd and 4th position have to battle each other. Whoever wins earns the right to take on the man in 2nd position, whose advantage, as we see here with Caron, is he'll be completely fresh. So Wolf against Belshak now.
Ready, begin!
Well, this is a fair way to do things. Caron sitting in 2nd place. He doesn't get to go to the grand finals like Brian Shaw does already, but he at least has a fresh pair of arms when one of these 2 men drop out. And this is quite unique to World's Strongest Man. It's not normally so head-to-head, but this, you're in your own interest to chuck it back as quickly as possible. Put the man under pressure.
Now that stone must be dropped into the square to keep things fair.
That's a very good point, Danny. In practice, that was one of the flaws they noticed. If someone could shove it over off to the side, it might go rolling out the circle, and that would be very much unfair.
So the Kiwi putting on a great performance. Remember, only 15 seconds they've got to return this Atlas stone to the other man.
Very quick there, Belshak. And that's putting the bigger, perhaps less fit man under pressure now.
Using his power belly as a shelf.
Clear the area, Wolfie. Clear the area.
I'm not sure how much he's got left in him, Wolf.
But his mouth's open. He's hanging out a bit, I think. Trying to get the oxygen in. And with such a short time period to pop it over. Look at all the other guys watching. Brian, of course, he doesn't have to do this, but the other men in the other heats have this waiting for them at the end.
It is a big change for the competition. I'm afraid Wolf did not manage that in the 15 seconds, meaning Caron now steps in to take on what must be a fairly shattered Belshak.
He doesn't look exactly fresh as a daisy, Belshak, and Caron, he wasted no time there, Caron. He wanted to keep the man under the cosh.
And look at this. Well, he looks, although tired, he looks like he's got a lot left in him, Belshak.
Yeah, I mean, Belshak, he was facing someone a lot heavier. I think, yeah, Belshak can do this because he's just magnificent at reps. And look at that, he still looks pretty fit. But Caron, of all people, he's one of the fittest in the business.
Bit of psychological warfare going on from Caron as well. I heard him go, this is easy. Gymnasia there, doesn't look like he thinks it looks very easy.
No, he doesn't have to play the psychological warfare bit, though. And something I'm noticing as well is they're tapping their arms an awful lot, and if you know your stone lifting, tacky is a key part of this. It helps you stick to the stone, and I imagine it's starting to run out.
You have to wonder how much more has he got in him, but the look on his face was just saying, over to you.
He's a hard man, Belshak. And suddenly Caron, he's not just popping it over in one motion anymore. Little smile on his face says it all. This is going to be a hard day at the office.
That's another one for Belshak. Just doing incredibly, but is feeling the strain now.
I mean, this is the equivalent of the 3rd stone on the normal Atlas stone set, and they're having to put it up again and again and again.
Well, up it goes. Just grim determination there. Losing confidence, maybe.
I think he's starting to worry that his tacky isn't holding anymore. It's just going to have to be brute power with the arms now. If he can hang on. I think he's the crowd favourite anyway.
This is an absolutely extraordinary performance from the Slovenian. And Caron must now be losing a bit of confidence.
He's just taking his time, a couple of seconds to recoup energy and have some of that.
How much longer can this go on? I mean that in a good way.
Well, I'll tell you what, back in the day, this is heavier than the heaviest McAshen stone when it was first used by the likes of John Paul and Kazmaier. Look at this. It must be some kind of a record.
Another one.
And the doctor might have to stop this one. This is brutal.
Caron returns it, and that's that. Well, what an incredible and brave performance from Beljac. I mean, Caron did everything to get there, to get that advantage. But, I mean, that was a real show of determination above strength.
And sportsmanship too there. Beljac knew he was up against a tough opponent. Tired himself out in the first bout, though, but this man here, JF Caron, one of the best. Worthy of a final.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sarah Jane is with both men now.
Matthias, you were like a bulldog. You were not giving up, so well done for that.
Yeah, thank you for the congratulations. That was the last event. Still have chance to get in the finals. I needed to give it a go, but beat two people on one time, it's maybe a little bit too much, and two good strongmen.
JF, congratulations for making it through to the grand final. How do you feel right now?
Oh, I feel really great, you know. It's my 5th final in a row now since I compete. But this year was, of course, by far the toughest battle I ever had with Matthias. Because Matthias is a young athlete, you know, he's just 24. I think Matthias is young, he will be part in the future of strongman. And good job to Matthias, and thank you for everybody here. Thanks.
Well, that in mind, best of luck.
Thank you.
Sporting words there from the Canuck, and a stirring effort by Beljac, but it is Caron who goes on to take a place in the grand final alongside the reigning champion, Brian Shaw.
Well, the sun goes down on day one then here in beautiful Botswana. It's been a blast, and believe me, there's plenty more where that came from, because next time up in Heat 2, we'll be seeing another British hope, Luke Stoltman, brother of Tom, and hoping to fare, of course, a little bit better, the irrepressible American Martins Lissis, and the return of one of the absolute favourites this year, Hathor Bjornsson. We'll see you for all of that then next time on World's Strongest Man.